We are nearing the halfway point here in season number 2 of the Portland Trailblazers MyNBA franchise, and our team's gotten off to a strong start. We're currently 20-13, really exceeding expectations, and we look like a potential playoff team in the Western Conference as we get ready for the new calendar year entering 2025. As it stands now, we are currently in 5th place in the Western Conference. We made up a lot of ground in the last episode, winning quite a few games. Now our team's gotten very lucky in terms of injuries so far. We've been able to stay super healthy, and it's usually at this point in the season when my teams that do start the year off healthy generally begin to deteriorate and guys start to drop like flies in terms of getting injuries. So that'll be an interesting thing to monitor if we'll be able to keep these guys healthy. Because other than the short injury that Darius Springer had, we've had literally no injuries this year. And obviously we cannot expect that to continue. So hopefully we'll be able to stay healthy as long as we can. Before we get into any games today here through the month of January, we're going to be going through our very first prospect profile of the season. I know you guys have been excited for it. Now here you go. We'll be going through some of the top players in this year's draft class, and we had 3 first-round picks this year, which makes this draft especially exciting. We have our own pick, we have the Timberwolves pick, and we have a swap worst between the Nets and the Rockets, which means we get the lesser of the picks. And unfortunately for us, the Rockets are the best team in the league right now. The Nets are really bad, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get the lesser of the 2 picks, which is going to be Houston, which as of now is projected to be 30th. Our own pick is also not going to be that great, at least as of now, because the team is performing. So I think the team to really watch out for here is Minnesota, who is not projected to make the playoffs. So as it stands now, we have 1 projected lottery pick, but with 2 additional first-round picks, plenty of other draft capital, and plenty of other assets in terms of players. If we want to move up in this draft, we've got the opportunity to do so. And I think the top of this draft has more overall talent than last year's did. I will say I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this year with the prospects. That way, it's going to have more players moving up and down the board throughout the season. So, for example, there may be a player who we don't talk about today because they're not projected in the top 10, but they can easily move up or down, and I will explain more about that later in the season. So let's take a look at the current projected top 10 in this year's draft, and that starts with a clear number 1 pick in combo guard Myron Sheridan out of Michigan State. This is the type of prospect who scouts believe they can build their team around. A 6'5", freakish athletic guard who can drive to the basket. He knows how to pick his spots on offense, get open, and show the flashes as a shot creator. He's a tough and intimidating defensive player. He needs to improve his overall efficiency, though. He can make some bad decisions, but we see the splash plays offensively and the potential superstardom that he brings to the table offensively. He sees the floor really well and can play on and off the ball as a playmaker for himself and others. And he's a solid enough defensive player as well. I think he has legitimate superstar upside. And as of now, he is the heavy favorite to go number 1 overall. He was the top recruit in this year's high school class. And so far, he has lived up to it, being one of the best players in the country, period, as a freshman with the Michigan State Spartans. Our next prospect has a very interesting storyline. This is Russian forward Rurik Yakovlev. Now, the interesting thing about him is that he has 2 triplets who are in this class, including big man Mikhail Yakovlev and another player who we'll talk about in a second. We'll start with Rurik, who's the most polished of the 3 brothers. He's a talented 4 who I think has an all-around gifted offensive game. Somebody who can create his own shot, somebody who can score in contact, somebody who can see the floor as a playmaker for his size. He does have some weaknesses, though. He has a long ways to go defensively. He doesn't necessarily have the size and physicality to defend bigs, and he also doesn't have the quickness and athleticism to defend guards on the perimeter. So right now, he really does not bring a lot defensively and will have to improve there. Mikhail Yakovlev is the center of the group. This is a big 7'1", 260-pound beast. He's your traditional back-to-the-basket big man, but I think with his extraordinary size and strength, I think he is still a fit for the modern NBA. He's got good scoring touch around the basket, and he's got solid enough athleticism to survive in the modern NBA. The third and final of the triplets is a guard. He's not projected to go until the second round, and I feel like that's pretty disrespectful to him. This is Lush Yakovlev. As of now, he's probably going to go somewhere in the 30s, but I feel like this is a first-round talent who has just been overshadowed by his two talented brothers. He is a phenomenal passer, maybe the best passer in the entire draft. And yeah, I get it's easy having two top 10 projected picks playing with you your entire life, but I think he really does give both of those guys a lot of great opportunities offensively. He's an inconsistent scorer and not a great shot creator. I feel like the shooting grades here are very generous. I would say he's more of a B to B- shooter, but the A+ playmaking is not generous. That is completely well earned. He's a phenomenal passer, and I think defensively he's pretty solid as well. He may not have the scoring ability that you look for right away, but I think with his playmaking, his defense, and his basketball IQ, he belongs in the first round. Let's look down the board a little bit at some more guys who could go in the top 5, and we'll start with Kalen Edwards, the big explosive forward out of Clemson. Edwards is a very talented player on both ends of the floor. I like the versatility he brings defensively. He's very athletic for his size. He can match up with guards. He can match up with bigs. And offensively, the first thing you'll notice is his explosiveness at 6'8", 220 pounds. Guys his size should not be able to move the way he does. He tries to shoot the ball. He's not particularly good as an outside shooter yet, but we have seen some improvement throughout his high school career, now into college, and there's no reason to think his shooting won't continue. Esteban de Real, the Spanish forward, is up next. This is an intriguing two-way prospect who I think gives you a lot of value as a playmaker, an inside scorer, and defender. He stands at around 6'9", 6'10", weighing in at maybe 230 pounds. The size listed here is wrong. That's a typo. I'll fix it. He's not 175 pounds, which if he was, that'd be a little bit concerning because he does struggle on the perimeter defensively. But since he's 230 pounds, it's not as big of an issue. He's more of a big man defensively who is looking to become more versatile on that side of the ball. Midnight Hopkins out of Houston's a very intriguing player. He's one of the best jump shooters in the class, whether it's off the catch, off the dribble, whatever it may be. Now, there are some questions about him if his efficiency is more so fluky throughout the year, and I think as the season continues to go along and he continues to shoot at a high clip from beyond the arc, that he is proving that it's not a fluke, and he just happens to be a ridiculously good shooter. The B- 3-point grade here is really harsh. He's a good defensive player, he's a good athlete, and he's got these creepy, big, gray eyes. When you look into his soul, it looks like he's, creepily staring at you. I am intimidated by this man, and NBA opponents should be too, because I think he's going to be a really good pro at the next level. These next three guys we're going to go through all together. Amel Wright, Dante Branch, and Malachi Suleiman. What do they all have in common? They all go to Duke. The Blue Devils continue to amass so much talent, and this year's recruiting class was no different. We'll start with Amel Wright, who is one of the best pure scorers in the entire draft. Somebody who can really create his own shot. He is a crafty finisher around the basket, although he needs to improve his efficiency from inside the arc. I think if nothing else, and he does improve his efficiency from inside, we could be looking at a really good sixth man. Think of like a Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford, Emmanuel Quickley type of skill set, but I think he's got more to his game than just scoring. I think he's a pretty good playmaker for someone who plays primarily off the ball offensively, and he's a good defensive player as well. He can definitely hold his end on that side of the floor. Dante Branch, his teammate, is next up. Branch was a very highly regarded football player coming out of high school, and it shows with his physicality on both ends of the floor. Defensively, look at him here, quickly closing out to the shooter. That's Kalen Edwards, the Clemson prospect who we talked about a little bit earlier. And as you can see, Branch has his own side of the floor here. Nobody dare go near him because he is such a pesky defensive player who knows when to double, who knows when to go for the steal. He can guard bigger guys like Kalen Edwards and really limit them. Offensively, he provides a lot as a sharpshooter, and I think he's a pretty good playmaker as well. It's just consistency and efficiency that I think he needs to improve upon, and I think he'll be a good pro. Along with those two guys, we've got the point guard Malachi Suleiman, 6'2", 185 pounds. Suleiman was not an overly highly regarded prospect out of high school, but he has really impressed scouts this year with his basketball IQ. He's not necessarily a super gifted player, especially as a scorer, but he's a great passer. He's a great defender. I don't want to compare him to Chris Paul, but he wins in the same ways that Chris Paul does. Now the question is, will his basketball IQ translate to the NBA? Suleiman is a very smart player compared to the rest of college basketball, but the NBA is a different beast. Will he be able to hold up, or is he going to very quickly need to develop an ability as a scorer? Because right now he doesn't really have that. We've been kind of bouncing around here, and we'll be wrapping up with Prada Pulores, a 7-footer from the NBA's G League Ignite program. The G League has built some really good prospects over the last 5 years, such as Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Scoot Henderson, and last year Jaden Hudson, who was the second pick in the draft. I really like Pulores' athleticism, and I think that will help him really thrive in the modern NBA. He's more of your traditional big man in the sense that he doesn't really provide a jump shot. He doesn't really give you versatility defensively. But I think with his scoring ability, his defense, and his athleticism, he's going to be a good player at the next level. And I think he can have a similar impact to a guy like Bam Adebayo, especially if he improves his playmaking. I think Jalen Duren in Detroit would be another good player comparison for him as well. So those are the top prospects in this year's draft for now, because again, as I said in the beginning of the video, I'll be implementing something to where more players move up and down the board throughout the season. And again, we'll dive into that in a future episode. I do want to take a look at the mock draft to see where everything stacks up as of right now. The Michigan State guard Myron Sheridan is definitely expected to be the #1 pick. Outside of Victor Wembanyama, some scouts believe he's the best prospect to enter the league over the last decade, putting him in that next tier with guys like Zion Williamson and maybe even Cade Cunningham, although I might be a little bit biased. As of now, the Blazers are currently projected with the 12th pick in the draft, as the Sporting News has us selecting Peyton Profit, a forward out of Syracuse. We didn't get to talk about him today, but he's one of the many prospects who we will likely go over in the next prospect profile. 2K is the Bulls picking Rurik Yakovlev with the #1 pick over Myron Sheridan. That would certainly come as a surprise. The Bulls have to go best player available, right? As for us, they have us going with Dante Branch, one of the talented guards out of Duke. And then NBA.com has the Bulls wising up with Myron Sheridan, and they had the Blazers going with Dante Kingsley, a guard out of Michigan, another guy who we didn't get to talk about today, but we likely will in a future prospect profile. I think this is a really fun group of players, and I think when it's all said and done, this will be one of the most talented draft classes that we have within this series. It's definitely a good season to have 3 first-round picks, and I'm sure the Blazers will certainly look to capitalize come draft time. Now let's put our focus back onto the current Portland Trail Blazers squad, and we have got a massive game here against the Houston Rockets, who have been one of the biggest surprises in the NBA. They've already passed their win total from last year, and we're only 30-some games into the season. Jaden Hudson, the 2nd overall pick, has made a positive impact. They also have Zayshawn Small starting. He has not currently played a game yet, but they have him starting because Alperen Şengün is a game-time decision with a minor injury. This team has plenty of young talent that they've drafted over the years. Guys like Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore. And the Rockets have finally put it all together, and it sucks that it's this year because we have their draft pick. If they were struggling, we would have another lottery pick. But not only is this team not struggling, they are thriving with a complete turnaround, again, from being one of the worst teams in the league last year to one of the best. And they didn't make any drastic moves in the offseason other than really drafting Jaden Hudson. And while that's been a good pick, he hasn't necessarily lit the world on fire. He's averaging 14-5 on okay efficiency. Here's a look at both lineups. Alperen Şengün, as you can see, will play today for the Rockets. He's been nursing a minor injury, but he's going to thug it out and play through it. So the Rockets are going to be at full strength. I think this is going to be a great test here for the Trailblazers at home against currently the best team in the league. And this will really give us a measurement of where the Portland Trailblazers currently stack up against some of the league's best. Alperen Şengün and DeAndre Ayton meet at center court for the tip-off. Regular starters, of course, for the Trailblazers today. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So let's see where this one falls as the tip goes to Ayton and the Blazers, and we are underway here in Portland. The Blazers have to set the tone and start quickly because with this Rockets team, they've got so much talent across the board. If they fall behind, they'll be in trouble. Here's Anthony Simons up, and away with a quick slam off the assist by the rookie, Darius Springer. Here's Alperen Şengün inside, no good. Grabs his own rebound and gets the putback. Şengün's a gifted offensive big man, most known for his ability as a passer. Here is Darius Springer, guarded by Jalen Green. That, my friends, is a mismatch, and Springer takes full advantage, and the rookie is on the board. We're tied at 4. Shaedon Sharpe, oh me, oh my! He goes flying up for the slam. Sharpe continuing his great third season, averaging around 19 a game. Here is Steady Freddy. Fred VanVleet inside, and the layup falls over the extended arm of DeAndre Ayton. Very competitive game so far over the first couple of minutes. Here's Sharpe with another throwdown. The Blazers are trying to throw down the rim as it's now 8-10. Simons' pass is intercepted by Fred VanVleet in transition. Here's Jabari Smith. Lobs it up for Hudson, who misses it. It has been kind of ugly offensively over the last couple of minutes. There's another steal. Scoot Henderson picks it off. Over to Simons. He's intercepted by Jabari Smith. He gets it over to Fred VanVleet, who will make the layup in transition despite solid defense by Ayton, and we are tied at 10, nearly halfway through the quarter. Pass is tipped away by the rookie, Jaden Hudson, in transition, gets the layup. Hudson, the second overall pick, hailing from Canada, played at the NBA's G League Ignite last year. Of course, we expected Hudson to be the number 1 pick. The Rockets certainly not complaining that he fell to them. There's Jeremy Grant for the 3. It's now 16-13. The Rockets starting to build up a nice little lead. Jalen Green answers with a 3 of his own, the leading scorer of this Rockets team, another former G League Ignite player. As here is Green inside. Good move on Simons. He gets the short shot to fall, and the Rockets are up by 8. Houston really starting to play well. Here is Scoot, guarded by his fellow draft classmate Amen Thompson, as Scoot is in for the throwdown. The Slash brothers, Scoot and Shaedon Sharpe, are both throwing it down early here in this one. 21-15, 2.5 to go in the first quarter. Still a pretty low-scoring game for the most part as Green hits another 3. Simons was expecting him to drive inside, but instead, Green pops the triple. Here's Jeremy Grant, wide open. He connects. Grant 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. Both of his 3s assisted by Scoot Henderson. Here's Jalen Green inside. Pull-up jumper. Beats the shot clock, and it's good. The Rockets are really attacking this Jalen Green on Anthony Simons matchup, and it's obviously working. Here is Green trying to get some room, and he hits another one. That was pretty good defense by Shaedon Sharpe to try to get out of the screen, but Jalen Green continues to make plays. Here's Tari Eason for 3. Won't fall. Full court shot from Abaji is no good, and that'll wrap up a low-scoring first quarter. The Trailblazers offense not looking good so far. Too many turnovers. They're not consistently hitting shots. They trail by 10. The Rockets looking to start strong in the second quarter as Jaden Hudson, the rookie, connects on the 3. 31-18. Here's well-known woman respecter Kevin Porter Jr. connects with Amen Thompson. He connects with Tari Eason, who lets it fly from beyond the arc, and the Rockets lead by 16. Houston very quickly building a comfortable lead. Kevin Porter Jr. no good, but the putback is from the big man Isaiah Jackson. 36-18 now. Portland down by 18. Ben Simmons over to Scoot Henderson in the corner. Big shot for the Blazers. They needed that one badly. Their offense is struggling mightily here in the second quarter. The defense also struggling as Kevin Porter Jr. hits the 3 for the Rockets. 41-21. Hudson with it inside. He is snuffed at the rim by Ben Simmons. In transition, Scoot Henderson dimes it inside. Springer, the rookie, with the layup as the Blazers bring it down to 18. Now they're down by 22, though. The Rockets really putting this lead out of hand quickly. Here's Ochai Agbaji in for a big slam to bring it down to 20. The Blazers, though, are very clearly overmatched on both sides of the ball. The Rockets, by far the superior team today. Here is Şengün. Nice move on Ben Simmons. Gets the shot to fall inside. 47-25. Agbaji off the screen. On the move. Nice jumper. Rock Chalk, the 2022 Final Four MVP, connects. It's a 20-point game once again. Green for 3. Hits another one. Jalen Green continuing to dominate as a scorer. He had 14 in the first quarter, and he's picking up right where he left off. Here's Green again, off the screen, inside for Fred VanVleet, who makes the layup. And the Rockets are just adding to this lead slowly but surely and consistently. VanVleet off the screen for three. It's good. And the Rockets lead by 26. 55-29. Yes, the Blazers have 29 with less than 3 to go in the half as Springer gets the dunk. The defense has been bad today for Portland, but the offense has been catastrophically awful. Like they've been on another level bad. Simons lobs it up to the big man, DeAndre Ayton, who throws it down, dominating on Fred VanVleet. 59-33 now. Here is Jalen Green with it. Green again. He has been him tonight. 62-33. Springer intercepted by Jalen Green. In transition now. Green over to Fred VanVleet. Gets some room, fires the three, and he misses it. Oh my God, the Rockets actually missed an open shot. I never thought I'd see the day. Following possession, Shaedon Sharpe loses it. Portland just can't get shots off. Too many turnovers. Jalen Green misses. There's Kevin Porter Jr. He's blocked at the rim. Nobody wants to get a shot off. Springer now with it over to Nasir Little. He is in for the layup. A big defensive stretch finishes off with a Portland layup. 62-35. Here's Fred VanVleet inside. Good move on Shaedon Sharpe by Steady Freddy, the former NBA champion. Here's Springer now, guarded by VanVleet. That, my friends, is a mismatch. Darius Springer's great at scoring in contact, but that's not really contact. There's no contest from VanVleet, who's a feather above 6 foot. Shaedon Sharpe misses the three at the buzzer, and that'll wrap up what was a disastrous first half. Portland could not close on Houston's shooters. They kept getting good looks from three. Portland is struggling on the glass. DeAndre Ayton has been dominated by Alperen Şengün. And most importantly, the offense has been unbelievably terrible. Portland is having a hard time getting shots off, and when they do, they're really struggling. Less than 25% from three. They haven't been efficient inside, but it's the turnovers that have really been the huge issue for the Blazers. To start the second half, Houston's picking up right where they left off as Şengün throws it down. Ayton continuing to struggle. Here's Springer inside with a nice pass for Ayton, who misses a wide-open layup. Perfect shot release. It's just been that kind of day. For the Portland Trail Blazers, they have nothing going for them. Green wide open for three. It's good. And the Rockets up by 32, their biggest lead of the day. Springer with the screen for Scoot. Scoot inside for the rookie, Darius Springer, who's really been the only bright spot for Portland. He's got 10 points on 5 of 5 shooting. Springer's the only guy who's shown up today. Here's VanVleet. Fadeaway three is good. And the Rockets are just building higher and higher. They're up by 33 now. Scoot Henderson with it. He's doubled. Somebody's going to be open. It's Anthony Simons, who finally gets a three to fall. 76-42 now. Here's Scoot Henderson with it. Henderson inside for the big fella, DeAndre Ayton, who gets a much-needed and one. Ayton's been very inefficient on offense. He's struggled on defense. That's a big make, although he does miss the three throw. Jabari Smith lobs it up for the rookie, Jaden Hudson, the high flyer, with the slam. Air Canada, 78-46. Here's Jabari Smith. He's doubled. Şengün open, and Ayton is too slow to get back. 34-point lead here for the Rockets. Simons with it inside. Gets it to the rookie, Darius Springer, who now has 12 points on perfect shooting, along with 5 assists and solid enough defense. Here is Jabari Smith with it. Smith with a dime inside for Jaden Houston. Both of these top picks are really playing well here in this game, for third quarter particular. Springer and Hudson are not missing shots. Hudson again inside, makes the layup, and he continues to dominate for this Rockets offense here in the second half, now with 13 points on great efficiency. Scoot Henderson on the move. Jumper is good. Scoot has been solid offensively. He's done a good job as a facilitator. He has 9 points, albeit he's been very inefficient as a scorer. 86-54. Hudson again with the slam. A little Canada on Canada crime as he dunks it on Shaedon Sharpe. Here is Henderson with the drive. Blocked at the rim. Şengün gets a hand on it. On the other end, Jaden Hudson again gets the layup. You can argue there should have been a foul there, but there's no call. The Rockets lead by 38 now. Şengün bullies Springer, and he'll get the layup. The Rockets now up by 40, and we're still in the third quarter. Here's Jabari Smith with the alley-oop for Jalen Green. Yeah, as you can tell, this is really bad. 100-56 now. Here's Melton at the buzzer. No good. Another bad quarter for the Blazers. They're down by 44 after the third quarter. I think we've all seen enough. I think we can skip through the fourth quarter. The fourth was not a whole lot better. Portland did finally play well offensively, but it's obviously not going to matter. They lose by 46 points, getting ran out of their own gym. 139-93. This was a humbling game for us, showing that we still have a lot of work to do if we want to be with this upper class of the league. Anthony Simons with 20 points. He was good in garbage time. That was really about it. I was impressed with Darius Springer. In the first three quarters, he was 7 of 7 from the field. Shot the ball more in the fourth quarter. Finished with 18, 9, and 7. DeAndre Ayton really struggled, 5 of 16 from the field. Scoot 3 for 11. Shaden 5 of 13. The three-point shooting was not good. Way too many turnovers. Just an all-around disaster. 31 points for Jalen Green. Van Vliet and Porter with 20. Hudson with 17. I thought he was really good. Şengün with 14 and 11. Jabari Smith with 4, 11, and 6, doing a little bit of everything. Then Thompson, I believe, had 7 and 7 himself. So a rough loss there. We're going to have to bounce back because that was ugly. But there's only one place we can go from a 46-point blowout at home, and that's up. We're going to simulate the next 2 weeks, bringing us to the official halfway point of the season. I'm curious to see if we get some trades, if we get some injuries. DeAndre Ayton seems to be popular as we get offered him an interesting deal with the Clippers for OG Anunoby and Ivica Zubac. I'm going to say no, but it's an interesting trade. We finally have an injury. I don't know why I say that excitedly. Ochai Agbaji twisted his knee. He will miss a whopping 0 games. He would be healthy within 2 days and did not miss any time because this team has the basketball gods on their side. Here's another trade with DeAndre Ayton. We'd be getting Patrick Williams and Ousmane Dieng from OKC. Again, an interesting offer, but we'll say no. And here is Scoot Henderson during the final game of our 7-game stretch with a strained left hip. He'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Now, he can play through the injury, so we're going to have a tough decision early in the next episode on how we are going to manage that, if we're going to try to play him, considering we're in the midst of a playoff race, or if we're going to have him sit for the duration of that injury. We would alternate wins and losses, going 3 and 4. Really not a lot of consistency offensively or defensively, as we're now 23 and 18 in 7th place in the Western Conference. So we lost a little bit of ground. We also have a negative point differential, and we still have not had anybody miss games, although that could change here with Scoot Henderson. And I'm curious to see, assuming this team continues to get more injuries, if we continue to fall in the standings and part of our strong start happening to be injury luck, or if this team is actually legitimately good. I think we're really going to learn a lot about this team over the next month or so leading up to the trade deadline and the All-Star break. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let me know which prospects you liked down below in the prospect profile. Peace out.